Hey YouTube, this is OBX Hatman here. I've had quite a few requests about the trolley system I've got on the kayak and how I put it on the same side as the rudder lift system. So I'm going to show a little bit of what I got here. Alright, so this is the front pulley, which comes up to there on the Radar 13.5 Wilderness Systems. I could have gotten it further up, but I didn't want to get it but so far because I wanted to be more straight in the line. These sharp turns can make it kind of difficult to pull on the line and gives it an odd angle. The guide, that's where I placed the first guide. Going on down, that's the second guide. Down a little further, this is the locking mechanism, and this is the clip. And if you can see how far I mounted that up so that the clip could work still. Going on down, you come to the pulley system for the ropes, or the lift system for the rudder I should say, and it's actually behind, for the most part, behind the trolley system. Now, how does it get behind the trolley system? All right, well, when I ran the rudder, I wanted to make sure I didn't have any interference from either one of the lines running back. So as you go back here, you can see that the top line for the rudder system actually runs through the guide at the top right here, and at the bottom there's just a small guide that operates that, that the line slides through. So there's, even though they rub past each other, they're not like binding up in any way. You come on back, you got both the lines running together. Once again, going through the guide at the top with the rudder lift system and the trolley system, and then it still just hangs down below here. There's your pad eye for the rudder lift system, comes on back. Now here's where the big change happens. Right back here on this back pulley, I put two spacers. They're about a ½ inch tall. You can get them from Taylor, Lowe's, Home Depot, any of those places. And I just had to buy screws that were long enough to go through those and into the backing plate on the back side. Now, what the backing plate looks like, so I'm not sure if many of you are familiar with that. Usually they sell several different types of systems, lift systems or trolley systems, and this is the HD trolley system from Yak Attack. So it comes with these backing plates, and I'll show you what they look like. That's one of the backing plates, and on the back side you can see two sets of holes that are for the clamp, two sets of holes that are for the pulley. This has to go on the inside of the kayak. Now how that happens is you place it on the outside after you punch out the nuts on the back side. You place it on the outside and you mark your holes orientated the way that you're going to place the pulley. And as you can see, that's the way I've got mine mounted, with the clamp side being back here. And the clamp is for the locking mechanism, the lever lock that I already showed you. And these two holes would be where you would mount that. But if you have a pulley going in place, you use the front two holes where it says pulley. Now, the way you do this is you put it up against the boat with the nuts out. You take a black marker or whatever and you mark the holes where all those holes are at, where they're going to go at. Then you use a certain size drill bit, which is bigger, a little bit bigger than the screws that go in here, and you drill out those three holes. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get some line, some kind of line, nylon cordage or whatever. I've seen people use bungee cordage and things of that nature. So you're going to place the nuts back in here on the back side. Then you're going to put, if you're running a pulley instead of the clamp, you're going to put two lines in these three holes. but only in 2 holes. So 2 lines in 2 holes, and then you're going to leave the other hole untouched. So if you're doing a pulley, you're going to run both your lines in here, but you've got to do it after you run the lines through the boat, through the kayak. So on the holes that you drilled on the outside, you figure out where your pulley is going to go. You stick 2 separate lines through each one of these holes. Then you're going to have to lift the kayak up so that the holes fall down to your access area where you can access the lines, wherever that may be. If you have a hatch on the back, it's a lot easier. On this particular model, the Radar 13.5, there is no hatch. So what I had to do is I actually had to put the 2 lines in here, and then I had to take and go up to the middle hatch area, and I had to use a long piece of wire that had a little hook on the end, and I would run one line down, the first line down just a little ways, and then I would take the hook part, go up from the hatch area, reach in real far, try and hook the line, pull it back, and then once I got the first line, I would tie it off kind of tight. Back here at the hatch area, I tie it off to the cleat or something like that. Then I go back, run the second line through here, then same process, pull it up with the hook, and then tie it off as well. Then I take this pulley back, or this backing plate back, come back here where the lines are coming through, and they're still stuck out at the end of the kayak. And then I run the lines how this is going to be fastened. It's going to pull up to the inside of the kayak. So when you run the lines, you got to run them through the nuts. So the line has to be small enough to go through the nuts on this side of it. And then you tie on, or actually you run it through this side, not that side. So you run it through this side, the side that's going to be against the kayak. And then you tie off a knot behind the nuts on this side. Then when you pull those 2 lines from the back, this is going to slide all the way up, and it's going to come up and be right in line with the 3 holes. So you'll have 2 lines coming out here, and then you'll have a hole that'll just be open there. Okay, now at that point you're going to hold those lines tight, and you're going to take a single screw that they give you in the package, and you're going to put it in this hole here where there's no line coming through. Now on the front 2 holes, you've got line coming through, and this is where you're going to be mounting your pulley or your clamp, depending on which one you're doing. Now you take and you cut one of the lines, not both, just one of the lines, and you take a hole punch or something like that, and you push the line that you had tied the knot on back through that hole so that it exposes the hole, and you still hold this line tight. Now you can take your pulley and put it in place with your spacer, and then you can put a screw there that's long enough to reach to the nut. Fasten that down loosely, don't fasten it down very tight. Then turn around, cut the other line, and your 3rd hole should already be lined up. Then you just fasten that with a screw and a spacer. And that's how I put this on the back for the trolley system for the anchor, on the same side as the rudder lift system. Now what I'm currently in the process of doing that I still have to finish up is, I do not like on the Wilderness Systems Radar 13.5 how they have this sharp bend right here at this pad eye that comes up to another sharp bend that goes into the rudder. What that causes is it causes a lot of friction. So it's very difficult to raise and lower the rudder because of these sharp turns. So what I'm in the process of doing is I've manufactured a bracket on the back here that holds 2 of the same type of Harken pulleys that I've got on the trolley system, and they're mounted at an angle side by side with a piece of aluminum plate in between that's mounted to the kayak with one of these clamps that are like $6 on their website on the inside. So I've got that in place. Then what I'm going to do is turn around and run 2 more pulleys back here, and instead of being side by side, there's going to be one on this side, one on this side. And then I'll take and back this line up for the rudder lift system back to this point, and then I'm going to wrap the line around one wheel. The top line will wrap around the top wheel, and then it'll come out and wrap around the far left reel pulley, and then it'll be straight shot to the rudder. Same thing with the bottom. The bottom's going to be wrapped around Bottom lines will be right around bottom pulley, and then it's going to come to the pulley on this side. And that's pretty much what I'm in the process of doing now. For right now though, I'm not going to finish it up until probably a week or so from now, maybe a little less than that. I got some kayaking to do, but so far that's how both my systems run together on the same side without interfering with each other. And that's it for today. Y'all have a good day. This is OBX Hatman. Peace out.